स्पेशल फोर्सेस का जो अस्तित्व है टिप ऑफ द स्पीयर, अगर आप किसी को भाला फेंके उसकी नोक प्रहार करती है। सिविलाइजेशन से हमें हीरो वर्शिप मिसाल बहादुरी को दिखाया, शिवाजी को फॉलो करते हैं, पूरी दुनिया में एक मिसाल बन के रह गई। स्पेशल फोर्सेस का ऑपरेटर होता है कामनेस इन केओस। इतने प्रेस्टिजियस इंस्टीट्यूशन का जो चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर है वो बनने का गौरव था, वो मुझे मिला। और अपने आप को ट्रेनिंग में शामिल करके और एक स्टूडेंट और जो मेरा पुराना एक्सपीरियंस था इंस्ट्रक्टर का, उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए इससे भी मैंने जितना योगदान हो सकता था वो देने का प्रयास किया।
It's an honor to host once again Brigadier Arun Pandey, the man who will define resilience for us today. Greatest setback of your life could become the foundation of your greatest success.
आजकल जो इंफॉर्मेशन है उसकी कोई कमी नहीं है और हम लोग एक्सपीरियंस और स्किल को इंफॉर्मेशन से कंफ्यूज करते हैं। इस युग में आपको एक प्रेस ऑफ अ बटन के ऊपर किसी भी चीज के बारे में एडवाइस मिल जाएगी, इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी, लेकिन वो ऑथेंटिसिटी और एक्सपीरियंस से बैक नहीं होती है।
What is resilience?
So resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks. हमारी लाइफ है ये बिल्कुल स्मूथ नहीं चलती है और इसमें सेटबैक्स होते हैं। इसमें कई प्रकार की घटनाएं होंगी जो कि आपको नेगेटिव रूप से अफेक्ट करेंगी और उससे आप कितनी तेजी से उभर करके आते हैं, और जब उभर करके आते हैं तो ज्यादा स्ट्रांग होते हैं या उसके बोझ के नीचे दब जाते हैं, ये आपकी रेजिलियंस को जाहिर करता है।
All the parents, they come and they say, I want my child to succeed. There are very few who ask and say that I want my child to become mentally stronger.
Mental strength comes from doing the right things constantly.
What are the daily habits that can actually help one build unbreakable mindset? What if I told you that the greatest setback of your life could become the foundation of your greatest success? Every one of us will be tested. We will face failure. We will experience rejection. We will lose people we love. We will make mistakes. We will encounter moments that shake our confidence and challenge our very purpose of life. The question is not if life will knock you down. The question is, when it does, will you choose to get back up? That is resilience. As a soldier, I've learned that resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about standing up again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you to the ground. It is the courage to face uncertainty with hope, failure with humility, and adversity with unwavering resolve. Resilience is not a gift. It is a skill. And like every skill, it can be built. It's an honor to host once again Brigadier Arun Pandey, the man who will define resilience for us today. He is the man on a mission to write, to ride, and to inspire. In this episode, he will share practical lessons from the battlefield, from leadership, and from life that will help you build unbreakable resilience. The mindset that transforms obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into stepping stones. Because in the end, it's not the strongest or the smartest who succeed. It's those who refuse to stay down. This is Commander Victor Mike and you're watching the Untold Story. Let's begin. Sir, Jai Hind, once again, welcome to the Untold Story with Commander Victor Mike. Sir, today's topic, it's gonna be something which will reflect what we can pass on to this and the future generations. How do you feel, sir, to be a part of this Untold Story once again?
Jai Hind, Vipul. It's always an honor and a privilege to be a part of a conversation with Commander Victor Mike. And I feel extremely fortunate to be here again on your wonderful platform, which since my last visit has grown in stature, in authenticity, and in followership. So it's my pleasure. Let's go ahead.
So we had a wonderful conversation about the special forces, the special forces mindset. And today, आज हम थोड़ी सी सादगी में बात करेंगे क्योंकि आज जो हमारे आसपास चल रहा है उसमें मुझे भी ऐसा लगता है और आपको भी लगता है, जिसकी वजह से हम दोनों आज इस मंच पर फिर जुड़े हैं कि हमारे जो बच्चे हैं, हमारा जो यूथ है, उसको कुछ मार्गदर्शन, शायद हम अगर उस इतना भारी वर्ड यूज़ कर सकें, डायरेक्शन और मार्गदर्शन की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज वी आर लूजिंग लाइव्स हियर। सर, अगर मैं इस पॉडकास्ट की शुरुआत यहाँ से करूँ, कहीं ना कहीं आई फील सर दैट इंडिया हैज़ नेवर बीन दिस एजुकेटेड, बट एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम सर, डिस्पाइट being having so educated people around, we still have anxiety, we still have depression, we still have loneliness, we still have lack of purpose. ऐसा क्यों सर?
सबसे पहले आप जो विषय या टॉपिक्स चुनते हो वो बहुत ही पर्टिनेंट हैं और बहुत ही संजीदा होते हैं। आपने बताया कि हम अपने यंग साथियों को मार्गदर्शन देना चाहेंगे, तो मैं नहीं समझता कि हम में से कोई इतना कैपेबल है कि मार्गदर्शन कर सके, लेकिन ख़ासकर मेरी अपनी रिसर्च के दौरान, जिसमें कि मैंने कई स्पेशल फोर्सेस के अधिकारी, कई सिविलियंस, कई वेटरन्स, कई फैमिलीज़ के साथ डिस्कशन किया, और इस दौरान जो कुछ इंसाइट्स मुझे मिली उसको मैं आप सब लोगों के साथ शेयर करना शुरू करूँगा। और हर जो पीढ़ी होती है उसको कुछ एडवांटेजेस होती हैं, कुछ डिसएडवांटेजेस होती हैं, कुछ चुनौतियाँ उनके सामने आती हैं, और कुछ सुविधाएं उनको जो उनका युग है वो आकर के देता है। तो इसी के बारे में हम आगे बात करेंगे, और हो सके तो इससे कुछ अच्छे लेसन्स उभर करके निकलेंगे।
राइट सर। सो ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है सर, ये जो एंजाइटी है, लैक ऑफ पर्पस है, कहीं ना कहीं मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है सर, हम एक तरह से हम स्मार्टर तो बनते जा रहे हैं सर, पर हम मेंटली वीक हो रहे हैं। क्यों सर?
आजकल जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है उसकी कोई कमी नहीं है, और हम लोग एक्सपीरियंस और स्किल को इन्फॉर्मेशन से कंफ्यूज करते हैं। तो जो करंट जो हमारी हम कह सकते हैं पीढ़ी है, या इस युग में आपको एक प्रेस ऑफ अ बटन के ऊपर किसी भी चीज़ के बारे में एडवाइस मिल जाएगी, इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगी, लेकिन वो ऑथेंटिसिटी और एक्सपीरियंस से बैक नहीं होती है। इस वजह से जो भी हम नॉलेज गेन करते हैं वो कभी ना कभी शैलो हो सकती है, जिसका कि हम सही एप्लीकेशन नहीं कर सकते हैं। ये तो रही पहली बात। और दूसरा है कि इस ओवरटली डिजिटाइज्ड एनवायरनमेंट में सोशल कंपैरिजंस का जो दायरा है वो बहुत बढ़ गया है। अब से 50 साल पहले आप एक गांव तक सीमित थे, आप एक कॉलोनी में रहते थे, और उसी कॉलोनी में आपका जो सोशल इंटरेक्शन था वो हो जाता था। लेकिन सोशल मीडिया की वजह से आप लोग अपने पुराने क्लासमेट्स, अपनी एक्सटेंडेड फैमिलीज़, अपने ग्रुप्स, अपने प्रोफेशन, हर जगह बिल्कुल एक्सपोज हो चुके हैं। और अगर आप कोई भी अचीवमेंट हासिल करते हैं या कोई भी एक्टिविटी करते हैं, वो 2 मिनट में ब्रॉडकास्ट हो जाती है, जिसकी वजह से जो सोशल प्रेशर है वो बहुत ज़्यादा मैग्नीफाई हो रहा है, 100 गुना, 1000 गुना, जिसकी वजह से जो प्रेशर है वो भी उसी अनुपात में आपको इफेक्ट करने लग जाता है।
सो कहीं ना कहीं ये भी एक और रीज़न है कि हमारे जो यंगस्टर्स हैं, दे आर फेलिंग टू रिकवर फ्रॉम, लेट्स से, डिसअपॉइंटमेंट, क्रिटिसिज्म, maybe something which takes them back, and they are not able to express themselves. They are not able to recover.
So recovery is directly proportional to what we call as resilience, and resilience has to be either physical or mental. Largely, you can divide it into 2 parts, and in case you are not able to recover fast, then the impact or the negative impact of this negativity or the downward spiral gets more magnified.
I'll interject here, sir.
Okay.
Let's start with a very basic concept, because आज का अंश हमारा रेजिलियंस पे ही है
जी,
जिसकी हमें बहुत ज़रूरत है, शायद मुझे भी है। रेजिलियंस को अगर आप एक सादगी में समझाना चाहें तो पहले तो हमारी ऑडियंस को हम उससे रूबरू कराते हैं सर। What is resilience?
So resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks. ये जो हमारी लाइफ है ये बिल्कुल स्मूथ नहीं चलती है और इसमें सेटबैक्स होते हैं। इसमें कई प्रकार की घटनाएं होंगी जो कि आपको नेगेटिव रूप से अफेक्ट करेंगी और उससे आप कितनी तेज़ी से उभर करके आते हैं, और जब उभर करके आते हैं तो ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग होते हैं या उसके बोझ के नीचे दब जाते हैं, ये आपकी रेजिलियंस को जाहिर करता है। सो रेजिलियंस इज़ द एबिलिटी टू रिकवर and rise from failures, from setbacks, and from negative incidents.
So this resilience is basically inherited from our parents or our forefathers, or it is something that we as an individual continuously throughout our lives cycles of troughs and crests, we develop it over a period of time. Because sir, there will be people who will go through failures.
Absolutely.
And they will recover, but there will be many people who will not be able to recover. So ये resilience की जो स्थापना है एक इंडिविजुअल से कहाँ से स्टार्ट होती है? वो जो मेरे फोरफादर्स ने अपने डीएनएस में मुझे दिया है, या वो जो मैं आज अपनी क्षमता से बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ?
इसमें मेरे विचार से दोनों पहलू आते हैं। जो ह्यूमन बीइंग्स हैं वो अपने में एक बड़ी रेजिलिएंट रेस है, क्योंकि हमने सदियों से कई लड़ाइयों का सामना करा है, कई प्राकृतिक विपदाओं का सामना किया है, फेमिन्स का सामना किया है, वॉर्स का सामना किया है, डिजीज़ का सामना किया है। एंड ह्यूमन रेस इज़ वन विच हैज़ कॉन्स्टेंटली इवॉल्व्ड, अडेप्टेड and is thriving as far as the present time is concerned. So genetically we have inherited this resilience in our genetics and in our system. That is why we are here and we are in the food chain. A man is the highest in the highest entity. Absolutely. अभी हमारे में भी कई होते हैं जो कि सेटबैक्स को ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह हैंडल कर सकते हैं. These are the people who are adapting themselves much stronger and faster, both mentally and physically, to get up from the failures, to get up from a defeat, adapt themselves in a better way, train themselves, upskill themselves, and work around the problem in a better way. So you can train yourself to be resilient, you can learn to be resilient, or you can allow yourself to be overcome by your adversities.
I think बहुत ही सरलता से सर ने समझाया कि जो हमने अपने over the years जो भी हमने tensions देखी हैं, what is happening across the globe at this point of time, what we see in and around, that somewhere gets inherited in every generation, whether it is natural calamities, whether it is self-inflicted political agendas because of which we have loss of lives. So that is one part of inheritance, which eventually it just goes inside our so-called system.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is that हम ऐसा नहीं कि ये मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा तो यहीं पे ख़त्म हो जाएगा. हमारा आज का जो अंश रहेगा वो इसी के ऊपर हम किसी ना किसी तरह घुमा फिरा के आएंगे कि हम कैसे इसको डेवलप करें. चाहे आज बेलगाम के हमारे कमांडो इंस्ट्रक्टर एज वेल एज चीफ इंस्ट्रक्टर हमारे सामने बैठे हैं, हु हैज़ रिटन सच ब्यूटीफुल बुक्स विच हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड इन द पॉडकास्ट. इनकी विचारधारा से हम कैसे रेजिलियंस को डेवलप करेंगे वो हम छोटे छोटे पहलू से हम सीखने की कोशिश करेंगे. अब अगर मैं इस स्पेक्ट्रम के एक दूसरे पहलू को देखूं, आज के युग में एवरीथिंग इज़ ऑल अबाउट कन्वीनियंस. एवरीथिंग अराइव्स इन 10 minutes, वेदर इट्स फूड, टैक्सी, एंटरटेनमेंट, अटेंशन. सो ये जो कन्वीनियंस है, अभी मैं रेजिलियंस को साइड रख दिया, ये क्या धीरे धीरे हमारे ह्यूमन कैरेक्टर को डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहा है?
जो ह्यूमन बीइंग है, it is basically comprises of selfish genes, and there are books and research made on this. You see, we are basically made to conserve ourselves. So whenever we get time to rest, our body will say कि आप अभी आराम कर लो, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि आपको बाद में ये मौका ना मिले, या कोई प्रेडेटर आकर के आपको अपने गुफा से बाहर निकाल देगा. आपको अच्छा खाना मिलता है, बॉडी कहती है कि इसको खा लो और ज़्यादा खा लो, ताकि हो सकता है 2 दिन तक आपको खाना ना मिले. आपको मीठा खाना मिलेगा या फिर ब्लैंड कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स मिलेंगी, आप मीठा खाना पसंद करोगे, क्योंकि आपकी बॉडी जानती है कि शुगर से आपको इंस्टेंट एनर्जी मिलती है, बेशक ये आपके लिए अभी ज़्यादा अच्छा ना हो. इसलिए जो हमारी कन्वीनियंस और कंफर्ट का जो बेंचमार्क है वो लगातार ऊपर बढ़ता चला जा रहा है एज और इन द गार्ब ऑफ डेवलपमेंट। किसी टाइम पे गांव पे लेडीज 10 किलोमीटर दूर जाके पानी लाती थी, अभी आपको नलके से मिल जाता है।
वो रेजिलियंस था।
रेजिलियंस नहीं होगा, वो कन्वीनियंस थी जिसकी वजह से आपको
जो उनको जाना पड़ता था,
जो उनको जाना पड़ता था, एंड दैट वाज दे वर नॉट क्रिबिंग बिकॉज दैट वाज द बेंचमार्क। आपको अपनी स्कूल में अगर 40 मिनट साइकिल से चला करके जाना पड़ता था, इट वाज टेकन एज अ गिवन बिकॉज दिस इज समथिंग यू हैड टू डू, बट नाउ यू कैन स्टडी फ्रॉम होम और यू कैन गो इन अ बस और यू कैन बी ड्रॉप टू अ स्कूल, सो दिस बेंचमार्क हैज गॉन अप। सो as a race or as a generation, we have started taking certain things for granted, and we feel that this is what is the basic level, and this level of primary comfort has constantly gone higher and higher, thereby making us susceptible or addicted to working less or doing the least amount of effort to achieve something.
पर अगर इससे मैं टेक अवे लेना चाहूँ
जी,
क्योंकि हमारा अंश पे रेजिलियंस आ जाएगा
जी,
तो जैसे ये कन्वीनियंस आ जाता है
जी,
चाहे आपने बोला उस समय का बेंचमार्क वो था, आज का बेंचमार्क और ज़्यादा बढ़ चुका है
जी,
तो जो रेजिलियंस का जो प्राइम डेफिनेशन है कहीं ना कहीं उसमें ये इफेक्ट नहीं करता कि आज अगर मुझे लेट्स से I feel that I'm authorized to demand for food or taxi in 10 minutes, and if it doesn't come,
yes,
then I'll be less resilient. अगर वो late हो जाता है, then my behavior pattern, the changes that happen internally, will actually be a different, perspective, which should not happen. Because मैं कहीं मेरा resilience कम हो रहा है.
You can say that your tolerance for discomfort is decreasing.
Right.
Earlier, you could thrive in uncertainty for, say, a larger number of times. Suppose you have to go from place A to place B and you are waiting for transport. You could wait for 2 hours, 3 hours. You could take a difficult route. People went in bullock carts on horsebacks. Now they go in driven comfort. Yeah, please.
So I think tolerance is that subset of somewhere the bigger universal resilience.
Yeah.
धीरे-धीरे हम वहाँ पहुँचेंगे.
Or the ability to withstand discomfort in terms of both physical and mental form.
And I think both are somewhere interdependent.
Yes, because if you have a strong mind, it automatically makes you stronger physically and in the body also. And if you've got a very strong physique, then your mind will have the comfort of bearing physical discomfort well, which will enable it to use its own energy and faculty for cognitive progress.
Exactly. And I want you to try and test in your lives. एक रात को go through worst of your environmental stresses and see morning में how it eventually affects your the next day routines. If you plan to get up by 5:30, you will not be able to get up.
We try to compensate a certain period of discomfort by giving yourself a reward immediately.
Right.
The ability to delay gratification and to consistently have fortitude, and the ability to consistently withstand hardship and adversity over a relatively prolonged period or a long period would certainly, define how resilient you are, how capable you are, and how strong you are.
I'm now taking, sir, to the burning topic of today's world, sir. सर एक बच्चा होता है वो 2 साल पढ़ाई करता है, फिर उसके बाद एक पेपर लीक हो जाता है एंड द एग्ज़ाम गेट्स कैंसल्ड. अब वो जो एक रिज़ल्ट होता है ना सर, दैट चेंजेस एवरीथिंग सर. व्हेन आई से दैट सर, हाउ मच डैमेज is it making to that young mind?
You see, the moment you put in your deepest efforts, both physical, mental, emotional, psychological, towards achieving an aim or a goal, and if there are setbacks, then you are naturally bound to suffer a certain amount of disappointment, a certain amount of remorse, a certain amount of frustration into it, and all of them can combine to affect you both mentally and emotionally. So certainly in an intensely competitive environment, if you feel that your assessment has not been fair, it is going to impact you very, very strongly in a negative way.
To that extent that these youth, these children are taking steps which are totally unwarranted. We are losing lives here.
You see, over a period, the statistics prove that as we are advancing as a civilization, the ability to adapt socially, the ability to emotionally come back from setbacks has diminished to a large extent, and statistics have proven that instances of breaking down mentally have increased to a higher level, shall we say, if you compare it with the previous times. So this is a universal phenomenon which was earlier more evident in developed countries, and the same trend has also come up in, shall we say, in our country.
In our
also.
country now.
Yeah.
Sir, we'll take one step at a time, sir.
Okay.
अभी हमने इन बच्चों की बात करी जो ये पेपर लीक से how their minds are getting affected.
Okay.
Apart from that, sir, I would also like to talk about the parents.
Okay.
All the parents, they come and they say, I want my child to succeed.
Okay.
Right, sir? There are very few who ask and say that I want my child to become mentally stronger.
Okay.
Why, sir?
You see, as we are advancing or developing, parents are confusing giving convenience to their children, giving facilities to their children with good parenting. If you see the animal kingdom, the offsprings and the young ones are brought up in a very, very systematic but a very tough way. They are taught to hunt, they are taught to fly, they are admonished, and they have to compete for everything, to compete for the love and affection of the parent, to compete for the food. Now, earlier there used to be a larger number of siblings. The siblings used to fight amongst themselves. They were living in confined spaces, socially and as a community, they were interacting more often.
Right,
now,
sir.
with nuclear families, you just have one child or two child, and if the parents both are working, then they would want to shower their love and affection in the form of more conveniences, giving
Right.
them food easily, giving them the best of toys, the best of dress,
Fulfilling their demands.
at a very, very easy pace, and this has spawned a generation of children who are very demanding, whose threshold for tolerance is very, very less, and they become ease-loving. So parents have to be very, very firm. They have to love their children, but they have to be very firm with them. They have to subject them to emotional, to physical and mental challenges in a healthy way so that they grow up as good human beings, very confident children. And this can only be done if they unselfishly devote a very large amount of time with their children and ensure that they rough it out, they play, they earn their privileges, and the best of the values are enforced and taught to them.
I think, sir, this point is very relevant when you talk about that emotional and physical strength that parents need to, instill in their children, because what we see around us is actually an alarming thing, wherein we cannot disregard, we cannot neglect this part of our parental, responsibilities. And the sooner we realize, the sooner we get sensitized about this aspect, the better parenting we'll be able to do for our children. And it is the need of
I'll just add on to this. Now, parents tend to fulfill their own unachieved ambitions onto their own children.
That is another purview.
And they also build a very, very heavy baggage of expectancies or expectations from their children, which is acting as a very, very major stressor for the children. In case they are not able to meet those so-called expectations, then it has a negative impact.
और शायद हमें से कई लोग पूछते भी नहीं अपने बच्चों से कि बेटा तुम क्या बनना चाहते हो.
Let them find it out. Let them, stumble around. Let them discover themselves. Give them an opportunity.
Let them fall once at least.
Absolutely, not once, many times, so that if they fall and they get up, then they'll be more resilient.
And I think, they all say that failure is the first part towards success.
Absolutely.
If you don't fail, you would not even realize what it means to be succeeding in your life.
We have to get used to failure in a way that you just have to succeed once after so many failures. And that is what will set the...
I totally agree with you, sir, because every single day I fail.
Absolutely.
And the only thing as a part of my resilience strategy is to again rise up, get back again to what I am pursuing. And this is exactly what I want to sensitize my audience today. Sir, if I want to talk about the difference between vision, goal, and a purpose. Vision, goal, and purpose. Somehow we tend to use these interchangeably between each other. Are they actually different, sir?
Vision, goal, and purpose are a part of the same spectrum, but it is the difference in the altitude. So the closest to us are the goals. What do we want to achieve, or what do we do? Vision is something that you see for yourself as a long-term goal and how you see yourself either in future or at a further date. Whereas a purpose is a higher calling as to what is the ultimate aim or what gives you fulfillment, what is the entire essence of your being. So in this order, if you see, we have to discover our purpose. In case your purpose aligns with your vision, then you are the luckiest person. In case it does not, then while you have the capability, you can do so and get it, meet at some point in your life where you can. So as far as the three aspects are concerned, in the order of hierarchy, the highest is the purpose, followed by the vision that you have set for yourself, and the closest and the tactical part of this would be the goals.
So if I still want to nag it further, sir, can somebody be successful without a purpose?
Yes, because there are people who success...
Very clear in their mind that they have a success definition in their mind.
Yeah, and success is also defined in many ways. For some people, excellence in their respective field or skill is a success. For them, it is making a lot of money, which is termed as success. For some, it will be, getting a high rank. So depending on that, you can achieve what you define as success for yourself. However, internally, you may not be aligning it with the calling that you have. For example, if somebody is an IS officer, whereas in his heart he is a very creative person and has art in his calling, then despite being very successful administrator, he may still not be following his purpose.
That is true. He's successful.
He's successful.
In the eyes of the community.
World or the community, absolutely.
Sir, I don't know how to put it across, but is it, sir, that some ordinary people always remain ordinary, not just because they lack intelligence, but what is it that they lack?
We have to be very clear between simplicity and being ordinary. You can have a very simple, very happy, and a very profound life. You as a teacher, as a basic citizen, as a parent, as a housewife, have a very simple and a very powerful life in which you impact others who are those who are around you. Now, again, ordinary would be somebody who's not been able to achieve what the world in the conventional sense says fame or money. Right. So, while you may be simple and very happy, but in order to address the impact of having an ordinary life, one could say that being ordinary can be a function of not having ambition, not having the ability to set a goal for yourself, not being consistent in trying to work towards what you want, and also dissipate your energies by spreading them off or leaking them in various directions. And at the very basic part of it, not putting in adequate amount of effort to do what you want to do.
So, as per Brigadier Arun Pandey, which is that invisible prison that we all people live inside?
It's a question of a mindset. You have to have a certain amount of escape velocity that makes you break out from the a very ordinary prison into something that takes you into the stratosphere where the friction is much lesser. So we tend to be less ambitious, or we may put in a lesser amount of effort in trying to achieve your aim. So in matters of physics, it is ultimately the quantum of force and the desire that you have and the way you work towards it, compounded by certain other factors of the environment that you live in, the genetics and the basic threshold of economic status that you have inherited.
Sir, I believe that life doesn't go by a plan, sir. There are jobs which disappear, sir. There are people who leave our lives. There are businesses that fail. Our own loved ones die. Sir, how do you actually remain emotionally attached with somebody, but mentally you're detached from the outcomes?
I think, Commander, we're getting into a very philosophical realm, but you have really, made me think deeply.
Every essence of my question has some relevance to the resilient mindset that we need to work on, because I think resilience is all about, your mental stature, your mental capabilities, and all these setbacks that I'm right now talking about, whether you're emotionally attached to somebody, but when I ask how can you be mentally detached, that is exactly paving a way towards my ultimate goal, which is being resilient in life.
So there's no one, solution for all this. And since we are at the resilience part of this discussion, all I would say is that constantly work towards making yourself stronger, both mentally and physically. Get out of your comfort zone. And the moment there are setbacks, which will be there, accept the reality, accept your situation, seek support, and thereafter, with due efforts, diligence, passing of time, recover and move on. Finally, we have to accept a certain amount of attrition in terms of the setbacks that affect us, and having a better mindset towards being more resilient will help you to overcome that.
I feel somewhere that emotionally being attached to somebody is not your weakness, but it's your strength. But mentally being detached from the outcomes is something which is, we need to work on, which is the most difficult part. और हमारी गीता का सार भी यही है. And हमारी ज़िंदगी के जो पहलू होते हैं वो इसी डिस्कशंस में चले जाते हैं कि हम मेंटली अपने आप को डिटैच कैसे करें. सो जितने विजनरीज आते हैं वो अपने जीवन काल में हमें बस यही विजन दे के जाते हैं कि हम कैसे अपने आप को किसी भी आउटकम से मेंटली डिटैच रखें. एंड दैट्स द मोस्ट डिफ़िकल्ट पार्ट टू डू. सर, आज के युग में व्हेन आई से इफ़ आई हैव टू बाउंस बैक, एंड स्पेसिफिकली विद रिलेशन टू द यंग माइंड्स, I feel that it's becoming, more and more important. How does one, bounce back, in our regular spheres of affairs when that person is not strong, mentally strong, or personal issues are happening. Life is all about bouncing back, sir. How does one take that step, the first very step, sir?
It's all about preparation. As a military person, both of us have served, and both of us are veterans. So finally, it is inoculating yourself and preparing yourself for setbacks. The more you train, the better you are able to adapt to hardships. And for that, the solution is step out of your comfort zone, prepare yourself so that when the actual adversities come, you are better prepared. You have rehearsed it many times over in your mind, physically, and you are able to anticipate the situation better and thereafter deal with it better, bounce back better. A team that trains harder, sweats more, will always win more games. The student who studies harder will certainly fare better in exam. Somebody who's more organized in his business, in his work, in anything that he does, will be able to overcome issues in a much more smoother and a better way. So constantly prepare yourself, constantly adapt, constantly organize yourself, and work hard so that when a situation arrives, you are at the top of it.
And I think this is the takeaway as the sensitization part of this Untold Story today, because come what may, we may try to disregard these very facts which the Brigadier has brought out on the table today, but that is a reality check. That is your rain check. If you are not up for it, then you're missing the game sooner or later. And the easier it flows into you, it becomes a part of your body, it becomes a part of your lifestyle, the better you will be prepared for your future. And that's the essence that I want to keep reflecting upon and keep ensuring that these messages are going again and again to all of you who are watching us today. सर, हम आज के battlefields की बात करते हैं. आपने अभी war का जिक्र करा, तो if I talk about the future battlefields, sir, these future battlefields are not about bullets. These future wars are about misinformation. It's about AI. It's about cyber attacks. It's about psychological warfare. It is about even attention warfare.
Absolutely.
That's the world that we are living in right now. At this point of time, क्या हम अपने बच्चों को prepare कर रहे हैं इस युग के लिए? Or are we just preparing them for yesterday's world?
Eventually, every generation of children and parents will figure out what is best for them. If they do it the harder way, or they can do it the better way. But the solution that you and I have discussed already is not there on a plate. But what is important is get out of your comfort zone, prepare yourself for the future. Do not take your facilities, your amenities for granted, and work your way for everything. Be ethical, do the right things, and ensure that what you achieve, you have done it through the dint of your hard work, because of your diligence, because of your training, because of your sweat. And then you'll be able to adapt yourself to any situation in a much better way.
Sir, I think the other synonym for resilience is perseverance. And that goes without saying that in this podcast, we will also, stay resilient. So when it comes to, role of discipline, of purpose, of character, of value, what does these many words play as part of a role in making us mentally stronger? While we know as veterans, but for our audience who have not lived this life, all these words of purpose, character, values, discipline, how does it make people mentally stronger? Your words.
Mental strength comes from doing the right things constantly. If I know that I'll take a detour, whether it is unethical, and I achieve my goal or achieve a reward, it will always pain me at the back of my mind because I've achieved this success not in the right way. So to be mentally stronger, my recommendation is constantly do the right things so that the result, even if delayed, will give you much more satisfaction. The third is, next is the power of instant gratification. We tend to look for rewards, feedback, authentication in a very, very early time frame. The moment you are able to just constantly do your work, persevere, be resilient, then you will not look for small rewards at a very, very quick intervals. So to be mentally stronger, avoid shortcuts, do the right things, be ethical, do everything the hard and the correct way, and do not worry about quick results. Have a vision and a purpose that will lead you to a better life, a better goal, and make yourself a more satisfied and a complete human being.
आप क्योंकि instant gratification की बात कर रहे हैं, and आप you've been a special forces commando instructor. I would like to ask you, sir, what are the daily habits that can actually help one build unbreakable mindset?
Okay.
this is what we need to learn. Come what may, sir, we have to build up these habits and on a daily basis to work towards that stronger mindset which is unbreakable. How do you tell your audience that
You
they
see,
can do it?
the internet and the Instagram and the social media is replete with advisories and advices on how to build your day, how to build your mornings, how to build an unbreakable routine. But it depends on what you want to achieve. For a student, it will be a different set of daily routines. For a working professional, it will be a daily set of working and a different set of working routines. But I'll start with discipline. Now, discipline is constantly doing the right things over and over again without somebody watching over you.
Right.
So, whatever you do without supervision, without any stimuli, it should be correct and it should be done over a very long period of time before it shows you results. Second is the power of a routine. Whether you feel like doing it or not, whether you have any motivation for the moment or not, you have to do what you have set yourself. For example, getting up early will give you a head start on the day. Movement, physical movement will ensure that you have a strong body. You are into the rhythm for having next of the day. Preparedness, planning your day, writing down your goals, breaking down your goals into various tasks will ensure that you unfold and use your energies in a correct way.
Right.
Ensuring that you give yourself the right amount of nutrition, the right amount of skilling will make you a better human being. Emotionally, you can help yourself by practicing activities that make you calm and happier. Engage in something that you like to do, have a good hobby, whatever it is. To be able to then visualize and have a correct aim and a goal and work towards it consistently over a larger period, maybe months, years, decades, will then ensure that your mindset makes you a better human being and ultimately able to achieve what you had initially set yourself to do.
So this stretch of days, months to years is actually nothing but resilience.
Yes, and it's very
And
boring.
discipline.
And very boring activity. You will be tempted to break it. You will be tempted to make shortcuts. But the moment you are unwavering, then things have to fall in place.
You know, whenever I used to hear some successful person stories, they would talk about, their mentors, and I'm sure you would have yours. But in today's world, sir, when I talk to a 20 years old boy, I won't say whether he's disillusioned, but he won't have any, mentor. I somehow feel that we have stopped even seeking mentors in our life. Is there something that you can reflect upon, sir?
Historically, mentors and in the Indian philosophy, gurus have had a very important aspect. And every great achiever has had somebody who showed him direction.
Right.
As of now, you may or may not have a physical mentor, but you have autobiographies to read. You have got information on people who have already achieved. If you want, say, PV Sandhu to mentor you and you do not have direct access, you read about her. You read about her training regimen. You see her biopics. So you should have a role model whom you should try to follow in letter and spirit. And thirdly, we've all heard about 6 degrees of separation. In case you have somebody that you seek to learn from, there are platforms on LinkedIn, there are platforms otherwise. Make a cold call, write emails, and I'm sure with consistent effort, you will be able to reach somebody that you look forward to. And in case you are lucky, which is most likely, then you will hear back from he or she, because every great person has got this quality of trying to give back to somebody who looks up to them.
Giving back to the society, sir.
Absolutely.
Sir, if I have to seek your lessons from the military, which our young generation can take away, to face challenges with courage and determination, sir, I would like you to amplify on them once again, sir.
The best actions are always very boring. We cannot have a magic wand. so that you just run an ignition and things starts moving. So every monument is built brick by brick. So for us, the basic facts remain the same. It is discipline, which is consistently doing the right things without supervision. It is always taking yourself out from comfort zone, having a strong mind, a strong body, strong ethics, strong character, and be a part of a good team, contribute as a member, contribute as a leader. And in the spectrum of development, make yourself a good human being, look after somebody who's close to you, be a good family person, be a good team person, and thereafter a team leader, be somebody who can influence your society. So all these aspects, in case you practice consistently over a period, you may have a very simple and a happy life. And if you have set very high ambitions for yourself, there are reasonable chances that you will achieve them.
Sir, you talked about the magic wand. Now, if I give you that magic wand and I tell you that you have the ability to change 3 reforms in the Indian diaspora, sir, and no politics, no bureaucracy. Let me be very clear, sir. If you have to change these 3 reforms, sir, what would change the next morning, sir?
You see, these reforms that I would recommend have nothing to do with my personal preferences as such,
Yes.
and they may not be related to resilience or the military mindset as such. But I personally feel, having grown up and reached my 6th decade in life, the first reform that I would want is judicial reforms. Okay. Because in our country, what has set the people behind is the fact that getting and seeking justice has become such a tedious process that it is extremely discouraging for a normal human being, and from this breeds the other ills of the frustrations and the society.
You triggered some point in me. I'm waiting for the other 2 reforms, and then I would like to say something loud and clear, sir. Yeah. Please, sir.
The second reform that I've always which has irked my mind, which may or may not be easily, is that the governance and the bureaucracy has to do its job in a very sincere manner. The moment in our nation you get a government job, it becomes a passport to exercising your authority and to be able to take maximum benefits out of it rather than give it back to the society. And third is that in our nation, there is no sense of a community as such. We may have the cleanest of homes, but the moment you step out, people will be throwing litter, they'll be damaging public property, they'll be breaking all possible rules as far as the traffic is concerned.
For the convenience.
People
will steal, whatever is installed.
Absolutely.
I mean, the very
From
next
highways, they pick up, stuff. And the best of the street lights are damaged, the trains are damaged, the public property is taken for granted, and this is responsible for having a very poor image the world over, which I feel would do a lot of good in case it is, though things are moving in that direction. What about your 3
Okay,
aspects?
I will touch upon the very first reform that you mentioned, जो हमारे अंदर का एक क्रांतिकारी है, वो जो क्रांति अब हिंदुस्तान में या भारतवर्ष में देख रहा है, ये मेरा मानना है, और पता नहीं मैं आगे आने वाले वक्त में अपनी सैल्यूट सीरीज़ या अपने विक्टर्स विजन्स में ये बात को कैसे और दर्शाऊं. कहीं ना कहीं मैं भी थोड़ा बोलने से कतराता हूं, क्योंकि जिस तरह हम ये पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं, जिसको ये मैसेज सुनना है वो उसको मैसेज वो पकड़ लेगा. आज जितनी बातें आपने करी हैं, टक 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 टक, अगर उस अंश को कोई इंसान धीरे अच्छे मन से सुने तो उसमें बहुत सारे टेक अवेज हैं. जो अगली क्रांति हिंदुस्तान में होगी, जो मेरे दिल से मेरा मानना है, और मैं समझता हूँ कि अब वो वक्त आ गया है कि वो क्रांति हमारे युग में, हमारे इस देश में आनी चाहिए. वो आएगी हमारे लॉयर्स के थ्रू. और उसका बड़ा छोटा सा अंश अभी हमें रिसेंटली दिखा है। इस देश को अगर अब हमें बचाना है इंटरनल में, एक्सटर्नल एंटी सोशल एलिमेंट्स के लिए हम लोग बैठे हैं, हमारी फ़ौज बैठी है, हमारे पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस बैठी हैं, बट इंटरनली जो हम खोखले होते जा रहे हैं, जिसमें हमारी आवाज़ नहीं सुनी जाती, जिसमें हमें दबाया जाता है, कुछ भी हो रहा है, आई एम नॉट अगेंस्ट एनी वन, बट ये जो क्रांति आएगी आज के देश में, वो शायद भगत सिंह से ना आ पाए, बट हमारे जुडिशरी सिस्टम को ठीक करने से, वो सवाल पूछने से कि हमारे युग में इतने पेंडेंसीज केसेस के क्यों हैं। हम आंकड़ा बात कर रहे हैं 5.5 करोड़ से ज़्यादा की, क्यों फास्ट ट्रैक जस्टिस नहीं मिल रहा? क्यों जब इतना बड़ा कुछ इवेंट हो जाता है, एक ऑर्डील में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है, तब फास्ट ट्रैक के ऑर्डर्स दिए जाते हैं? मतलब अगर ऑर्डर्स दिए जा रहे हैं, इसका मतलब किसी का तो कंट्रोल है, तो वो कंट्रोल क्या पूरे सिस्टम पे?
No, I think we align on this, and though it is a little different from the main topic, but you have been able to evoke these emotions, and it's a pleasure discussing it.
मुझे तो कहीं मौका चाहिए ना कि मैं अपनी भी बात को एक सात्विक रूप से मैं बता सकूं, अपनी ऑडियंस तक पहुंचा सकूं। तो अगर हमारे हिंदुस्तान के सब लॉयर्स ने ठान लिया कि अब हम देश के हवाले हमारा पर्पस भी वही है कि हमारा देश जागरूक हो और हमें देश के हित में काम करना है, तो हमारे लॉयर्स के पास वो
शक्ति है।
On
judicial reforms, even the judges have to be forthcoming. They have to dispense justice at a breakneck pace and deliver justice.
इस जगह पे आके मैं ऐसे हो जाता हूँ। अभी मैंने कुछ दिन पहले एक रील बनाई थी, डर लगता है, तो उस पर किसी ने टिप्पणी बोली कि सर आप ऐसी बात कर रहे हो तो आम आदमी का क्या होगा? मैंने कहा मैं क्या आम आदमी नहीं हूँ?
Absolutely.
मैं कौन हूँ? मैं भी कोई नहीं हूँ, मैं तो सिर्फ एक कमांडर रिटायर्ड हूँ।
सो कमांडर, जो बाकी दो आपकी जो
एक्चुअली सर मैं इस समय जो रिफॉर्म्स के बारे में बात कर रहा था वो डेफिनेटली सर जुडिशरी सिस्टम के रिफॉर्म्स की बात थी, बट अगर आप उस पहलू को थोड़ा और डिटेल में आगे ले जाना चाहें तो एक जागरूकता होनी चाहिए सर हमारे आसपास के पेरेंटल रिफॉर्म्स की। जिस चीज़ पे हमने आज बहुत बातचीत करी है, मैं अपने बच्चे पे क्या थोपता हूँ, मेरा बच्चा उसको कैसे परसीव करता है, मैं कितना प्रेशर उस पर डाल रहा हूँ, मैं क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस रख रहा हूँ, इस जाल में मेरा बच्चा फंस रहा है।
सो गुड पेरेंटिंग, एक्सपेक्टेशंस एंड ब्रिंगिंग अप ऑफ चिल्ड्रन in a way that they are able to, seek for themselves what is best, and they grow as better and more capable human beings.
एंड सर आपने जो दो पहलू बोले थे रिफॉर्म्स के, वो पहलू कहीं ना कहीं मेरे भी दिल में है, बट इसको अगर छोड़ के कोई चीज़ को से हमें जुड़ना, तो हमें ये देखना है कि सर हमें अपने भारतवर्ष में अब उस लेवल पे काम करना होगा दैट वी आर at par with every single technology of the world.
Absolutely. But there are things being done on this, though again we are digressing, but then we are also not detached from what an average or every Indian thinks. So there are a lot of good things happening in space technology, in defense technology, in semiconductors, in agricultural field. So I don't think we should, end at a pessimist note.
It's still not done, sir.
I know that.
I still have a very philosophical question for you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I feel that our life is always trying to teach us something, which we are always refusing to learn.
Okay.
What is it that?
Again, you see, we have from resilience sort of moved into the realm of philosophy, of finding purpose for yourself. But one thing that if you want to say life constantly tries to teach you is that nothing is constant. Whatever is there will change, and whatever is happening will pass. And this is what had been written, thousands of years ago, that this too shall pass. So there is nothing which is there permanent in this world, and whether it is for good or whether it is for bad. And in case you are able to withstand this storm, this change, and adapt better, then you'll have a more fulfilling and a good life.
That's beautiful, sir. this shall also pass.
Absolutely.
And I think this brings us to a little, I would say conclusion to our podcast episode today, because when we, listen something so beautiful, we understand, we connect so well. And the purpose of the so-called three reform, asking three reforms from sir was also, somewhere उसका भी अंश कहीं ना कहीं हमारे resilience से था in different departments, in different mindsets. Resilience of being disciplined, resilience of having the courage to do our duties well, resilience of doing the same thing over and over again, resilience of ensuring that the reforms keep happening in our country, over and over again for the better, for the better things to come forward. So, हम लोग चाहे टॉपिक हम एक चीज़ को चुनते हैं, वहाँ से वो हमें कहाँ डाइग्रेस करता है, बट कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक इंटरडिपेंडेंसी या इंटरकनेक्शन बना रहता है.
And this is the advantage of, the untold story with Commander Victor Mike. Because you speak from your heart and you make your guest speak what, is deep within them in a most genuine fashion. And while we have gone from A to B to C, but I have thoroughly enjoyed, and to get your viewpoint on what should be there as a vision for our nation has been extremely compelling. It's been wonderful.
Sir, honestly speaking, sir, I feel so humbled today, sir, that apart from the regular talks that you do on the commandos or the special forces mindset, today you also spoke something very deeper from what you have experienced in life. How would you like to see our world changing, especially our own Indian diaspora and Indian continent? And that gives me, that feel-good factor that, on the Untold, we are unleashing those possibilities where a vision is being, shared with our audience.
And what has not been told earlier.
And what has not been untold, sir. Sir, I would like to again thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, sir. I feel so humbled, sir, that you are again a part of the Untold. And today, after the Special Forces mindset, we have graduated to another deeper core question of understanding what's happening around us and what our youth requires. And that's the purpose. To some extent, what I've been, following in my life is about youth empowerment. And if we can give something, through our talks, and few of these people or this youth picks up those important elements,
some difference
will be made. And that's the agenda of this platform. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on board.
The pleasure is entirely mine, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. In my last podcast with the Brigadier Arun Pandey, we talked about hero worshipping. In this podcast, we talked about seeking mentors in our lives. There is obviously some similarity, but this particular episode is purely meant for my youth who's watching me and listening to us. This is a very straight message to you, that we understand that you have your struggles, you have your challenges. Please don't forget that we are with you in some capacity. मैं कोई टिप्पणी नहीं देता, मैं कोई स्टेटमेंट नहीं देता, बट मैं आप लोगों को उतना सक्षम बनाने की कोशिश में हमेशा जुटा रहता हूँ कि आप मेंटली, फिज़िकली स्ट्रॉन्ग बन सकें. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं बहुत ही मेंटली स्ट्रॉन्ग ह्यूमन हूँ, बट कई चीज़ें हमें एक्सपीरियंस से मिलती हैं, समझ आती हैं, वो शायद हमें कहीं ना कहीं उतना स्ट्रॉन्गर बना के चली जाती हैं. आवर ओन फेलियर्स, आवर लर्निंग्स, एवरीथिंग. एंड ये देश भी देख रहा है और हम सब देख रहे हैं, कमांडर विक्टर माइक भी देख रहा है. इसलिए मेरा कांस्टेंट एक अप्रोच रहती है, शायद मैं उसे अगर बोलूँ मेरा पर्पस रहता है कि या तो मैं SSB वेबिनार्स के लिए सोचता हूँ, या मैं मेंटरशिप के रील्स बनाता हूँ. नाउ आई एम डूइंग 100 days ऑफ बिल्डिंग ऑफिसर लाइक पर्सनालिटी. इन सब का अंश जो होता है ना, वो जुड़ के सिर्फ आप तक ही पहुँचने का एक मुद्दा होता है कि हमारी यूथ कभी भटके ना, उसका मार्गदर्शन हो सके. आज बहुत अच्छा लगा ब्रिगेडियर अरुण पांडे के साथ फिर एक बार वार्तालाप करके. एंड मैं आपका फिर एक बार तहे दिल से धन्यवाद करूँगा कि आपके निरंतर सपोर्ट से मैं आगे बढ़ पा रहा हूँ। एंड मैं हमेशा की तरह आपसे हाथ जोड़कर विनती करूँगा कि मेरे लिए, मेरी टीम के लिए वो सब्सक्राइब बटन को ज़रूर दबाइएगा, बिकॉज़ उसी की हेल्प से मैं आगे और लोगों के साथ जुड़ पाऊँगा। और मेरी हमेशा की तरह अपील रहेगी that in case you have an untold story, please connect with us in the description given below. And I wish and I will try my best that आपकी untold story हम दुनिया तक पहुंचा सकें, because that's the agenda and the purpose of the Untold Story with Commander Victor Mike. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Commander Victor Mike's channel. Means a lot to me and my team. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.